Hey guys, this is Nick. Welcome to Strange Spotting. For those of you who are new to the channel, I apply rational thinking to analyze paranormal and cryptozoological alleged video and photo evidence, and to investigate anomalous cases, legends, and folklore. Through this method, I have conclusively proven, at least to myself, the existence of 4 categories of cryptids that mainstream science ignores. 1. Forest-dwelling, hair-covered hominids, commonly referred to as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. 2. Upright walking canine humanoids, better known as dogmen. 3. Tiny hominids, the worldwide mythology of little people comes from, and of which more than one species exists. 4. Hairless, pallid and gaunt humanoids whose features suggest underground evolution, known to the internet folklore as pale crawlers or rakes. When a piece of promising material comes along, I dedicate full videos to its dissection, but the internet is bristling with videos and photos of UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, fantastical beings, and anomalous events, and I think they deserve to be looked at in a slightly different format. I hereby present to you 5 unsettling paranormal videos from the web, and my critique and evaluation for each. First video comes from the TikTok account Nightmare Fuel. It shows what looks like a luminous humanoid being running on all fours on a body of water. It's impossible to say if this being is running on a lake or on the sea. The information provided by the publisher is captivating but very scant. It says a search and rescue team filmed this brightly illuminated creature in North Carolina, United States on October 12th of an undisclosed year, but I assume 2024, while running on water at incredible speed, so much that their boat had trouble keeping up with it. As with most paranormal videos and photos, I cannot tell you with absolute certainty that it is fake, but I'm afraid there is very little plausibility in this one. First of all, it's very blurry, but not the kind of blurriness due to abrupt movement. In fact, it seems these guys were riding on a boat at full speed but had perfectly steady hands to film this event. I have seen this technique used so many times. It consists of creating or taking an already existing AI-generated video and downgrade its quality so much that it's impossible to tell the difference. Second, aside from this distant dock, there is no visual element to compare the alleged paranormal creature to. Last, but not least, there is no frame of reference for this kind of paranormal event. No eyewitness has ever spoken of alien or interdimensional beings running on all fours on water. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure such a thing could not exist. I've witnessed directly and been informed indirectly through reports about events and phenomena which caution me to keep an open mind towards even things that sound ridiculous to mainstream audiences, but I also believe the best way to someday prove that our scientific and cultural worldview is still incomplete is to apply critical thinking. For all these reasons, I rate this clip as a very visually appealing and atmospheric piece of footage, not at all scary, with very little context and plausibility next to zero. And I consider it almost certainly AI-generated footage that's been misrepresented. We've all been exposed to a flood of alleged UFO sightings in the last couple of years, so much in fact that it would be a gargantuan effort to analyze them all. I fear that an overwhelming majority would turn out to be hoaxes created with air balloons and drones. I don't say that out of an excessive skepticism, but because I know for a fact that there are many out there who would either gladly profit from deceiving people or simply enjoy proving to themselves that the masses are easily fooled. This doesn't erase the fact that among the many sightings, there are quite a few that defy conventional explanations, such as this light phenomenon recorded in the sky of Japan.
やばい、落ちてる？なんか2つに分かれてるくない？
なんかさ、分裂してるよな。
分裂してるよな。
分裂していくつ
え、何あれほんまにオーロラ？え、違うよな。オーロラ？
こんなちっちゃくないよ。オーロラこんなあったかいの。
We can see a very bright, mostly stationary and probably enormous green light among the clouds, and we hear the voices of bystanders expressing their concern about what they're looking at.
え、何あれ。
最近ろくなことはない。めっちゃ緑や。オーロラ。
家から見たくない？
家から見よう。
The clip is a montage of various recordings taken by different people in different locations, and this makes it essentially impossible for the light to be CGI composited into real scenery. My considerations about this video are the following. A. The markedly green coloration of this phenomenon is in contrast both with how meteors look when they enter our atmosphere and with how comets look when they pass close to our planet. Perhaps it could be a particular gas present in the sky in that particular area that makes it look this green. But that leads me to B. If this were a comet, our astronomers would have most certainly actively studied it and it would have received media attention. C. A meteor entering our atmosphere wouldn't be so still, it would pick up velocity and break up before crashing. D. This light, in my opinion, is too big and bright to belong to a satellite. Whatever's causing it is probably inside the more interior layers of Earth's atmosphere. E. I am very skeptical of the idea that this could be a drone, unless we're talking secret military technology. What kind of commercial-grade drone could stand perfectly still like that and pack a lamp that powerful? Besides, what kind of battery would it need to generate so much light and for such a long time while also flying? As reference for this, I pulled up this news segment from 2016.
A video recently uploaded to the internet shows a mysterious green-colored object making its way across the sky over northern Japan. The object was seen by thousands of people in Niigata Prefecture on October 31st. Now, many people said it must be a UFO, but experts say it was most likely a very bright meteor with a peculiar color and a burning fragment of satellite.
The light is similar, but it behaves in a very different way. Even back then, there was no real consensus as to what that could be, and I'm afraid this recent possible evidence of non-human technology will simply be forgotten by the general public in the long run. Regardless, I rate this clip as visually striking, somewhat scary given its possible nature and the implications, with decent context and high plausibility, and I consider it potential evidence of visitation by non-human intelligence. For this next segment, I have selected a clip depicting alleged paranormal phenomena caught on camera, specifically a monkey toy that seems to move on its own. I personally came across this footage through the paranormal-themed YouTube channel Maximum Fear, who in turn found the clip on a TikTok account named DailyUTLRPD. The original publisher stated that he owns a storage unit and uses it to keep various antique items, including this monkey. Take a look. The footage is both simple and unsettling at the same time. The implication of the monkey getting up and turning its head towards the camera before going limp again is, of course, that it's possessed. Given that this clip has gone through many hands before mine, the background info could be incorrect or incomplete, but apparently the man who recorded this video had witnessed strange events surrounding this toy, and later on the owners of the storage facility complained about noises coming from his unit at night, and even accused him of living inside the unit himself. This prompted him to install a camera to see what was really going on and capturing this footage. I would like to point out, once again, that I'm not discarding the existence of phenomena that do not fit with the current scientific understanding of reality. In fact, I witnessed something decades ago that, as far as I'm concerned, cannot be explained through conventional means. Unfortunately, though, paranormal videos of this variety, meaning ghosts, poltergeists, and objects moving autonomously, are the easiest ones to fake, and I'm certain I won't offend anyone by saying that there are thousands of them out there that are 100% fake and carefully crafted for views and likes and ads monetization. For most of these fake paranormal videos, it's quite easy to figure out what tricks were used. For instance, transparent strings and wires that are later hidden in post-production. I can't say with absolute certainty that this monkey is not possessed, but the more I look at it, the more I think this effect could have been achieved with three distinct gimmicks. One, the monkey's butt is probably anchored to the box below. In fact, the way it sits on the edge without falling seems to defy the laws of physics unless it is sewn or glued to that support. 2. The monkey sitting up movement could have been achieved with a thread pulling it in this direction and release it a few moments later, and then blurred or erased with video editing software. 3. The head and neck movements can be created with an internal mechanism, which first bends and then rotates. There's an interesting detail worth highlighting. The neck rotating back to its original position when the toy falls down is somewhat more difficult to achieve in synchrony with the string releasing it, but it is possible if the movements are programmed instead of actioned through a remote controller. So this possessed toy is mildly entertaining, but quite creepy. It provides good enough context, but is not very plausible. I consider it most likely a hoax achieved with a combination of mechanical and digital means. Now, before we move on to the next paranormal clip, I have a super quick message. If you happen to possess video or photographic evidence of anomalistic events or creatures, you don't have someone you trust to look at it and give an informed opinion, you're more than welcome to send them to strangespotting@yahoo.com. I will gladly analyze your evidence for free and give you an assessment, and if you so desire, share it on my channel while giving you credit for it or keeping your anonymity. Now back to the clips at hand. I often wonder if people around the world know that while Nessie is the most popular water cryptid, it is not the only one with a long history of sightings. There is in fact another one that I would argue is a very close runner-up. I'm talking of course of Champ, another plesiosaur-like animal allegedly inhabiting the waters of Lake Champlain in the northeastern portion of the North American continent. There have been at least 300 documented reports of sightings of this creature over the centuries, with the first being made in 1609 by the French explorer the lake is named after. There are also photos and videos allegedly showing Champ, with the most famous and recognizable being this one from 1977. I'm afraid though that the old photo doesn't stand a chance against this recent video. Take a look.
I see something in the water. Oh!
The man who recorded this video is named Johnny Hoffman. He was visiting the lake on August 4th, 2022 with his wife and kids, and the footage was taken right when they arrived and went to check out the docks. I have observed this clip many times, and I do not subscribe to the view that this is a sturgeon. Sturgeons are majestic fish that can reach a length of over 20 feet, or 6.1 meters. But what's swimming just below the surface here far exceeds such measurement. I've increased the sharpness and contrast of this frame from the beginning of the footage, so that the shadow of the animal is clearly visible, and mind you, this is its shadow, not the ripples on the surface. We have a very easy reference in this motorboat here, which, despite being in closer proximity, still looks much shorter in length. Now, if we make a simple comparison with two bars, we discovered that the creature's length would be 1.58 times that of the boat, if they were at the same distance from the person recording, but they're not. In fact, the creature is much longer than that, between 1.5 and 2 times that, maybe more, which means the creature's length is between 2.37 and 3.16 times the boat's length. I've checked this website with the average measurements for motorboats, and it's easy to tell that the boat we're looking at is a Class 1 motorboat. According to aspotter.com, Class 1 boats have a standard length between 16 and 26 feet. Even if we take the lower end, 16 feet or 4.87 meters, it would result that this creature is, with absolute certainty, no shorter than 38 feet or 11.58 meters. This makes the sturgeon hypothesis preposterous by itself. But there is also the glaring detail of how this thing swims. It looks nothing like a fish, but much more like a serpent. Lake Champlain is not known to host any species of fish or snake of this size. For all these reasons, I rate the Hoffman-Champ footage as visually striking, slightly scary, with good context and very high plausibility, and I consider it extremely compelling evidence of an undiscovered species inhabiting the waters of Lake Champlain. This last clip was recorded in January 2022 and published by a woman named Marie-Louise Montero. According to the info provided, she's a professional photographer and was on a trip in the Aruba island with a friend. While visiting a local cave with a tour guide, her camera inadvertently captures something very strange. Some of you may not have noticed it at first, but a greenish humanoid figure seems to be keeping an eye on the explorers right before hiding behind a rock when the camera pans in its direction. Here's what I think about this video. Even with a brightened up, sharpened and enlarged frame, it's not possible to discern any details that could give away the real nature of this thing. I've heard many people describing encounters with humanoid creatures inside caves all over the world, and the mind-boggling aspect is that there is an astounding variety of features and shapes described. I've heard of hairy hominids, green humanoids, mantis-like aliens, pill crawlers, and many others. I've personally analyzed 2 videos in the past 2 years where I concluded that the 2 subjects were absolutely not human. You can find them among my videos on the String Spotting YouTube page. One of them was a hairy gnome, and the other was a small version of a pill crawler. I have absolutely no problem with believing that there are undiscovered creatures in cave systems all over the world, but in this particular case it is essentially impossible to tell if this is a human in a costume or something not human at all. I rate this clip as visually entertaining, quite creepy, with good enough context, but no plausibility because of the absence of observable elements. I consider the green humanoid from the Aruba cave impossible to determine. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more paranormal stuff, check out this other compilation of mine. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.